Hi, this is Greg Johnson with resourcesforlife.com, and this message is brought to you by CarePro, providers of home and outdoor mobility equipment, such as electric three-wheeled vehicle chairs, wheelchairs, that type of thing. Well, anyway, I was reading the New York Times recently, and I saw an article by Walt Mossberg, who writes about technology. You probably have heard the name. And anyway, what was interesting to me is that I think it's the Wall Street Journal that he writes for. They had iconized, created an icon of his image, his little goatee and the glasses, etc. A really cool looking icon. But it got me thinking about how in this era of the internet that people can become iconized, literally, with little icons, or that a person's lifestyle can become sort of fit into this mold, you know. Your hairstyle, the clothes you wear, whatever, you know, message it is you're preaching, or politics or religion or whatever. And, you know, case in point, and this is sort of, I guess, independent of the concept of the internet, but more just the idea of people becoming iconized, is a friend of mine has a restaurant here in Iowa City that serves local vegan organic food. So it's pretty specific. It's not just vegetarian, but vegan and organically grown, locally grown foods. So anyway, I saw him with his wife and kids at a restaurant here in town. And because, you know, I should state, you know, a restaurant that serves vegan, organic, locally grown foods, that's a little bit different than somebody who happens to have, you know, an Italian restaurant, and you might see them, you know, at a Chinese restaurant. You're not going to think twice about it. But there's this sort of like culture and almost a theology that goes along with vegan, locally grown, organic foods. And so just for a moment, I just thought, oh wow, this guy is, you know, he's eating presumably vegetarian. I don't know if they serve vegan foods at the restaurant where we were, but certainly, you know, wasn't organically grown and locally grown. So I was like, in a moment, I caught myself, but for a moment, I was kind of critical of him, like, you know, oh well, he owns this vegan restaurant, and, you know, why would they be eating non-vegan, non-organic, non-locally grown foods? But then I caught myself and I realized, you know, there's so many things like that we tend to pigeonhole somebody into the lifestyle they're promoting or whatever, and we assume that they have to do that every moment of every day. I recently moved from my 10-by-7 house into an apartment in downtown Iowa City. And I've been concerned, you know, that people have this expectation of me that I'm just going to live forever in a 10-by-7 cabin. And I think some people are supportive and enthusiastic about the move, but others, I think, are sort of startled and wondering, oh, well, you know, I thought you were supporting tiny living, and etc. And likewise, in my own life, I've made changes of my political views or religious views and that type of thing. And once you become very vocal and very public about a certain viewpoint, religious, political, or otherwise, you know, people tend to hold on to and have an expectation of who you are and what you're about. And the internet, I guess, in a way, bringing this back to how I started the video, the internet, I guess, helps to propagate whatever this view is through your own blog, as well as other people who pick up stories. And I still now, months later, 2 months later, have journalists contacting me and saying, oh, you're the guy that lives in the tiny house. So, you know, this sort of sticks in people's minds as, you know, this is who you are, this is what you are, as if that'll never change. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and seeing Walt Mossberg in sort of a cartoon caricature on the web kind of reminded me of how people sort of get set in stone, either their appearance or their views or whatever. But I'd be curious to know what others think about the topic. Thanks.